Welcome back to F.A.C.E, Demelza.
Thank you for having me on, Dale.
It's great to have you back. Quite a lot has happened. If you want to share your screen, you'll see a little green box. Green box says share. You click it, and it'll show whatever screen you choose.
Okay.
Just hover your mouse around the drop-down menu, and you'll see it. Okay, we're getting your screen now. Google is up there, a Google page.
Okay, well, I'll just leave it on here on Crypto Research Report while we're talking.
All right. Well, let's start with this. I believe, when were you on last time, Demelza? You remember the month?
I think it was April.
Okay, so we had already started the recovery in crypto, and we had that, outstanding move, almost a quadruple from 3 to 12, and we've been moving sideways here. A lot of people thinking technical entries around 7K would be an opportune moment to step in. Do you pay attention to levels, or are you a lot like a lot of gold people who say, don't wait to buy gold and wait? Do you say the same thing about crypto?
Exactly, Dale. I buy basically the same amount every month, regardless of the market.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. So, if the market's advancing, you're buying it. If the market's falling, you're buying it. And you allocate, a certain percentage of your income every month to it? That's conviction.
Exactly. I think right now it's, I put in a certain amount every month and a certain amount of fiat, and it buys variable amounts of Bitcoin. And I just hold the Bitcoin over time, and that's basically how I do that on my personal account. Because I think, I think I think even Warren Buffett mentioned it. I mean, when he gets bored, he starts to make his worst trades. And I think in crypto, you don't need to be that clever to make money. You just have to be disciplined enough to hold on when the market puts you on in for a ride.
Okay. So it looks like a new report, the most incredible duo. The duo is Bitcoin and Swiss. Is it Bitcoin Swiss? Is it a certain coin that a bank's putting out or Switzerland's putting out? Explain the incredible duo to us.
Sure. Well, Bitcoin Swiss is the largest broker of cryptocurrencies in Europe, and we recently made a partnership with them. So that's what's going on here. But let's see. I can try to flip through different pages here. What do we got here? We got a crypto fund. We got our latest article on gold stable coins.
What are those? What are those gold state? I mean, gold's been the precious metals. I assume, I would make a guess with silver's outperformance of gold that there'll be a silver crypto coming up.
Well,
Is there anything on the drawing board for that?
Well, that's a good point. To be honest, I haven't. I'm sure there is, but I haven't heard of it yet.
Okay.
But the
There'll
silver.
be one.
There'll be one pretty
Yeah.
soon. But I'm not very convinced though, by the gold-backed stablecoins, because there's a lot of risks there that you're not really getting that much benefit for over an ETF.
Okay. All right. So why don't we talk about what happened here in the U.S. with the IRS getting a list of Bitcoin holders, traders, etc., that didn't report capital gains. Do you think this is a stance that the U.S. government is taking against Bitcoin, or just the Treasury needing every penny it can get?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, basically, they sent out 3 versions of the letter. The first version was just kind of stating we think that you didn't accurately declare your cryptocurrency holdings, and the second one was kind of more like, well, you declared something, but we think you did it incorrectly. And the third letter was basically saying, you must reply to this letter. We're convinced that you have not reported your earnings correctly. So 2 of the letters you don't even have to respond to if you don't want to. I actually did personally receive one of them, and all of the data, all of the IRS received this information from Coinbase, and it's really tricky because the letter basically states that you must comply with all tax law, but the tax law on cryptocurrencies is not really clear in many cases. For example, I lost or not lost. I had stolen many cryptocurrencies. They were hacked, and there's not a clear process for declaring those types of losses within the current system. There's also problems.
Were you new to the game when that happened? Because that would make me pretty paranoid. You're an expert. You're working on a PhD in crypto, and I've heard stories from a lot of people of how they've lost coins. So, is that a constant worry for people?
I think so. I mean, I was doing risky stuff, but I think that people don't even know how to gauge risks in this industry. So I think you find out if it's risky when it's too late in this industry.
So how do you prep for it, and what steps can crypto holders take to lessen the potential of having their what they're believed to be a very important asset to them being stolen? I mean, it's tough enough being right in the market, making money in the market, taking pressure, but actually to have your net worth stolen from you. What steps do you take and recommend people do to eliminate that? Maybe you can't 100%, but what steps do you tell people to take to feel more secure when they go to sleep?
Oops, I'm sorry. I just got rid of my. Let me see here. I have to increase my. Somehow my sound is not perfect, but well, generally that's a great question. I mean, basically you have. Okay, a lot of people were suggesting to put on 2-factor authenticator with your cell phone. So now when you log in, you have to type in a password, your normal password, and then it'll prompt you to put in a 6-digit code that comes from your cell phone.
Okay, you mean this like online banking is? Like I use Zelle. Similar, if I'm going to make a transaction, they will send me a code that only you get on your own device. Like that?
Exactly. Now, Dale, probably with you might be getting a text message with that number.
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem with that. Okay, that was the first step towards security, but the problem with that is that people are now calling AT&T and Verizon and Sprint, and they are telling these hackers are basically telling these companies that they lost their phone and they need a new SIM card issued. So then the hacker gets a new SIM card that has your phone number on it, and now he has access to your SMS messages that the bank will send you, or the cryptocurrency exchange. And people have lost millions in the United States. And in fact, there's a court case going on against one of the largest telephone providers because they did give out a SIM card to a hacker, and that hacker was able to steal an individual's cryptocurrencies from Coinbase a few years ago, and now they're suing the telephone company because the telephone company is not really going to do a lot of they're not going to spend a lot of time and money on making sure that you're actually the person you say you are when you call the customer service. There's multiple reasons for that. But yeah, that was the first step. The second step was now ensuring that you get the message, the 6 digits, through what's called Google Authenticator, which is an application that you can download from the App Store onto your phone. And instead of getting a text message with the 6 digits, you get 6 digits from your phone itself, and that worked for a while, but hackers found a way around that. And basically now what they do is they reset your password so they hack into your email, which is the main entry point for hackers. They hack into your email, and then they contact the different exchanges that you have Google Authenticator set up with, and they tell those exchanges that you lost your phone and you need to reset the Google Authenticator with a new device. And this takes 2 to 3 days. But once it's done, the hacker now has full access to your cryptocurrency account, and they have your email account as well, so they can basically hide emails from you while this whole process is going on. So now the whole entire industry is
I
trying
don't like the brave new world.
I know. They're just, every single step we take towards defending ourselves, they take 2 steps on the offense, to attack us. So it's a tough market. But generally, what I do now is I have a diversified strategy. I have a lot of my holdings on completely offline, so that they cannot get into my accounts and hack the majority of my crypto holdings through digital means. I mean, they would have to come find the whole, like the physical location of where the cold storage is. They would have to, either kidnap someone and force them. It gets very, you can complicate this
Where's the
situation.
cold storage? In a wallet at your home, or at a, whereas, I mean, I'm a low commodity trader, so cold storage to me meant where they kept pork bellies. So what's cold storage in crypto?
Well, that's a great question, Dale. I mean, basically, you have yeah, what it means is that the coins are not being stored online. They're basically being stored in a hardware device.
Okay.
Offline, which could be in a safe. It could be at your bank in your safety deposit box. It could be in a safe at your house. It could be, yeah, it could be various
It's
places.
like having possession of coins.
Exactly. It's the same idea. It's the same. Can you still see my screen? I don't know.
Yeah, we got you up there.
Great.
Right now, you have Libra up there. You want to talk about what Facebook's up to here?
Sure. Libra is a great topic. I was at a government event last week in Austria, and they had somebody, the head of Facebook for Germany, presenting on Libra. And the first 10 minutes, he talked about how we all need to support this because it will help the most disadvantaged in the world, the poorest of the poor, the world's unbanked. They were quoting something like 2 billion people unbanked. These people need access to financial services, and now Libra will save the day. Are you kind of do you think you're listening? Should I just briefly introduce Libra, or do you think they already know what it is?
You could briefly introduce it.
So, I mean, Libra is basically launching a cryptocurrency that will be backed by 5 fiat currencies and 5 treasury bonds from 5 different countries. So that would be the United States, the euro, the pound, the Canadian dollar, and the yen, Japanese yen. So what it means is that they're going to basically buy assets, so fiat currencies and bonds. They're going to hold them in an account in Switzerland, and based on how much reserve assets they have, they're going to be issuing tokens called Libra. And Libra can be traded through the Facebook Messenger app. It can be used to make payments. It can be used to save money over time.
Why did they choose the name Libra? Does it mean freedom? Or is it the astrological sign?
Well, I think it's because my birthday is in October, and I'm
and you're the only crypto PhD in the galaxy.
Exactly. No,
okay.
I really don't know. I don't know, Dale.
There's a lot in the name, so I was curious. All right, go ahead.
That's a good point. I'm not really sure on that point.
I mean, it will be part of marketing.
Yeah, it's got to be some kind of. I'm not sure.
In Spanish, it might mean liberty or something. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. My mind wanders at my age.
No, that's a question. I really don't know. Somebody. But yeah, basically, whenever I hear people get up and on stage and say, I'm doing this to help the poor and da da da.
Yeah.
That's my first red flag. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And Basically the way that I look at this, Dale, is that it's going to be a massive redistribution of wealth from Africa, Asia, South and South America, and the Middle East to Europe and the United States, because basically now there's hardly there's no one signing up to buy. I mean, there's nobody showing up to buy new government bonds, and from the developed countries. Basically, the developed countries have to force banks and institutions to hold bonds, and there's like 16 to 17 trillion in negative interest yielding debt. I mean, there's a huge, in my opinion, this is really a lot of assets in there. And now, to basically save the day, we can now get the household savings of the entire rest of the world. We can get them to buy Libra, and when they buy Libra, that means the Libra Association will have to buy up more government debt from those 5 countries and more fiat currencies from those 5 countries. So for me, with the classical Ponzi scheme, you always need to get new people involved to keep the show running. And I think,
yeah, you know what, that we're talking about a 30-year bull market that is pretty extreme. I wouldn't feel comfortable if that was the asset that was backing it. I mean, it would have made more sense when yields were higher, but with yields here, doesn't that inherently create risk in the asset?
I
What if
completely
rates
agree.
go up one day, is what I'm saying, Demelza.
No, I agree completely. But I mean, even a lot of institutions, like, I don't know if it's pensions in the US have this issue, but pensions in Europe have to hold bonds because they say that money is too risky to hold. So,
Well, every bond is money because it's backed, it's in some currency. So, people are chasing yield. This has really never happened in the history, modern history of economics, negative interest rates like this on such a large scale. So, it almost feels like they're coming in, almost makes me think like I have to look for short positions in bonds if they're going to bring in the little guy who's unbanked, who might be better off unbanked than buying bonds after a 30-year bull market.
I completely agree. I
So are
really
you going to
don't.
be buying Libra in your own account?
No. I mean, one thing is to keep in mind is that it's
Okay. All right.
one thing that
That's where
it's
the
supposed to
rubber
be.
meets the road. If you believe in it, you buy it. So are you warning people about this or just educating them about it?
No, I'm just educating people about it. I mean, I think that one thing to consider is that it's supposed to be a stable coin in the sense that it's not supposed to have appreciation. So it's not really an investment, so to speak. But uh, I mean, I'm warning people about it because I really think that this is just an extension of the current monetary system in a new form. It's the emperor's new clothes, but I still think the emperor's naked.
Okay. Okay. All right. So that's Facebook's experiment. It'll probably be hugely successful because they could promote how well the bond market, let me stress, has done, not what it may do, but how it is done. So what else is on your mind and radar, Demelza?
Oh, let's see. I mean, the cryptocurrency market. I mean, I do think. I mean, there's a whole bunch of topics. I think that Facebook, because Libra will be somewhat successful or very successful, we have to see. But I do think that Libra and Facebook could basically become too big to fail in some way because there's already discussions about if the world's economy becomes dependent on Facebook and Libra, then this could become something that's very relevant for political discussions. And at that point, they could really come after Bitcoin because I think that a lot of people would, Libra is kind of like the nice user interface. Everybody's familiar with Facebook. Facebook will make it very easy to buy Libra. I mean, Facebook will make it so easy to buy Libra. We'll probably be buying Libra in our sleep.
Okay.
And I think that this could eventually have a consequence on Bitcoin, because a lot of people are kind of think this is kind of bullish for Bitcoin. Like, you know, it'll bring people one step closer to crypto. But I actually think that if Facebook can convince these 5 governments that they can redistribute, you know, they can increase demand for bonds and fiat, then I think that, you know, a lot of anti-Bitcoin rhetoric will come out. And then at that point, I'm not really sure. Because it's the Bitcoin
Yeah.
is fighting a tough war here, along with gold and silver.
Yeah. Gold and silver winning the war, and so is Bitcoin lately. So why don't we talk about what you offer to the public besides your great research? Maybe go over your website, and so people have this type of resource before they, you know, commit their hard-earned money to something that's new to them. So how do you go about educating people? Do you have webinars too, Demelza? Do you, you know,
Uh,
have a community? How do you go about it?
well, actually, I mean, that's a great question. I am basically a writer, so I do a
Okay.
lot of writing. I do writing all over the, you know, for Forbes and Business Insider and all, you know, all these types of outlets. But the company that I work for, actually, I'm going to become a partner this next quarter. There's right now there's 4 founders, um, and I will join as the 5th partner. These are basically our team. This is Stefan, Ronnie, Mark,
I
Dr.
just had Ronnie on a few months ago.
Oh, how was he? How was he?
Oh, great. We had fun.
Ronnie's great on the markets, and Mark Ballack is my direct boss, and Hans. Then we have some compliance team, but generally what we are is we're a wealth management firm. We
Yeah.
have you know, basically one gold fund, one commodities fund, like broad commodities. We have the crypto fund where I work, and now we're trying to grow the crypto space, the crypto side, and um, we're probably going to launch a volatility trading strategy based on Ledger X in the US, because now the US has Bitcoin settled futures. It used to be
Yeah.
only cash settled futures. So this is quite an opportunity, because the volatility is really, I mean, the premiums on these options are enormous.
Okay. So you guys are basically, you're going to have a trading operation, funds, etc., and you're the only American, huh?
I'm the only American right now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least you know they still let you in despite what's happening here, and really, yeah. And Ronnie was great. So, um, you guys look like you're covering the whole gamut. And what kind of minimum investment to get involved with you guys does it take? And are there, can you take money from non-credited investors for your funds?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, we have different funds, some where only professional or qualified accredited can invest, other funds where retail can invest. So we have various products. We don't, as of this moment, have a product that Americans can invest in, which is a real pity. Um, but we hope to bridge that gap in you know, in Q1 or Q2 of next year. Right now, we're working on some other initiatives, but um, the minimum investment for the cryptocurrency fund is $1,000.
That's right.
But yeah,
It's a
but
low
some of the,
entry.
yeah, it's not a high entry. It's not a high
Yeah.
entry, and it's yeah, it's quite progressive. The regulators,
Do you
the
have an
regular
equity? You have an equity curve for that fund over the last few years?
an equity
For
curve.
yeah, you know, kind of like performance of what the fund has done in the last few years with all this volatility. Is it
Uh,
just a long only fund and it stays long forever?
No, it's basically gold and Bitcoin combined in one fund where if Bitcoin goes up in value and it takes up to, if it, the weight of it within the portfolio reaches 40%, we sell the Bitcoin, realize gains, and then we buy gold, physical gold that's stored in Liechtenstein. And the strategy year to date this year is 47% up.
Nice. How about last year?
Yeah, so it's not a bad year,
It's a
but
great year.
of course, if we had, yeah, it's a great year. And the whole point of that is to reduce the risk because a lot of institutions just don't want to hold on to pure Bitcoin strategies where they can lose 80% on their 1% position in
Well,
crypto.
did
So
you have drawdowns last year before the bottom at the beginning of this year?
so
Did the
actually
fund
we
suffer when Bitcoin went from 19,000 to 3?
actually we weren't launched last year, but if we had been
Oh,
launched,
okay.
would have
Good
had.
timing. Yeah,
Yeah, we would have had a bad year last year. I mean, but yeah, everyone did. But
right.
we would have had, I would guess, around a 50% drawdown last year.
Okay. All right. So what's the mix right now with the performance in both and gold really stealing the show, although silver's outperforming? Has gold become a bigger part of your fund with the move that we've had in it as far as asset value? Has it climbed to 40%
Uh,
yet?
well, no, well, the thing is basically when we started out this strategy last year, it was just a pure hold long strategy on all cryptos, and that's why we would have had the 50% drawdown because it was just directional.
Mm.
And what we did was we switched it so that now we have 75% gold and 25% Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin goes up, we sell Bitcoin and we buy gold, and vice versa. If gold goes up, we would sell gold and buy Bitcoin. But right now, gold has not hit the trigger where we're selling gold and buying Bitcoin. We haven't got there yet.
Got to be, I mean, we've had a 30% rally, so have to be approaching it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What do you need? 2,000 gold to approach it?
That's a good point. I would
Okay.
have to this is a great question for Mark
Okay. Well,
because he's the one that does all this.
down the road, I can interview a team. I can make, you and Mark and Ronnie, we could do a panel one day. So, uh, anything, the most important thing you want to pass on to people listening to us live and the recording later, uh, Demelza, in the
Sure.
last few minutes?
Well, I think the best thing is that to get our report. So if they go to cryptoresearch.report/downloads, they can get it. It's available in English or in German. And also, I just wanted to say we are totally revamping the entire website. We're going to have proprietary data available for free with about 100 different variables in CSV file and in Excel file, so people can download the data, get it on their side, and start doing the kind of analysis they want to do. We're going to have basically all sorts of different features in there: monthly, weekly, quarterly, daily, whatever, interdaily, interday tick symbols. Where it'll be really nice data. It'll be on multiple coins. It'll be you can compare the cryptocurrency market to the S&P or to the DAX or S&P. We're going to have all the main stock exchange indices up there, and gold, of course, and silver. So in the next couple months, the website's going to become basically a data platform, and we hope to drive more readers into our report, more investors into our website, and
And
yeah,
that website address again is?
cryptoresearch.report.
That's for the report, but that's the website address too?
Exactly. The actually downloading the report is cryptoresearch.report/downloads.
Okay. All right. Well, Demelza, I recommend if you have an interest in this asset class, this arena, that Demelza's really on top of it, and she's part of a great team. And Demelza, I believe in teamwork. There's no I in team. That's what we have here. And, I wish you and your team a lot of success, especially with your mission on educating people about landmines, pitfalls, and how to be secure in doing this. There's enough to deal with price risk. People shouldn't have to deal with fraud, right?
I completely feel.
Or thievery. So anyway, it's tough enough to make a buck. And thank you for your mission. And I root for you. And that we'll be back together next time. Maybe we could set up that panel. And I'm sure we'll have more to talk about this winter. So we'll schedule something for that time frame.
Thank you, Dale, and I keep following you on Twitter, and I love your tweets, and I just think you're doing great things for the U.S.
Oh, thanks. We're international, so
Okay.
I'm an international star. So anyway, and if you want an 8x10 glossy autograph, let me know. I'll get one out to you, Demelza. And really, it was a pleasure chatting with you today, and congratulations on really being brave in the new brave world and the new frontier of crypto.
Thank you, Dale.
All right. So that's a wrap for us, everyone. And also NFP tomorrow. So trade the NFP. Should be no frickin' problem. And remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And we'll see you tomorrow for the NFP. Adios.